70-742 Lab 10, Configuring Group Policy Preferences. So this will be our lab, official lab, for Lesson 10. In Lesson 10, I illustrated a number of ways that we can do these settings in our Hyper-V environment. This will be your actual lab that you'll be submitting through ACE-IT. So let's go ahead and get logged in. We're going to be using our Lund-DC1. So let's go ahead, and what we're going to do is we're going to right click our start button, and we're going to go to Control Panel. And in Control Panel under Hardware, we're going to select View Devices and Printers. We're going to click Add a Printer at the top. And then we're going to say the printer I want wasn't listed. We're going to add a local printer or network printer with manual settings and click Next. Now what we're going to do is we're going to leave it selected as LPT1, and we're going to click Next. Under the manufacturer, we're going to scroll down till we see HP. We're going to select HP, and then we're going to select the HP LaserJet 1600 class driver, this first one right there, and click Next. On the type of printer name, click Next. Now, printer sharing. Question number 1. What is the printer share name? Well, you can see it right there. And question number 2. What is the UNC to access this printer on Lund-DC1? Well, if we're trying to access it, we have to do a / the name of the device. So / Lund-DC1 / HP Color LaserJet 1600 class driver. That would be your name. So the share name is HP Color LaserJet 1600 class driver. The UNC to access the printer would be / Lund-DC1 / HP Color LaserJet 1600 class driver. Question number 2. Click Next. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to let it sit as default, and we're going to click Finish. And there is our HP Color LaserJet 1600 class driver. Take a screenshot and paste that into step number 11. Let's go ahead and close Print Management. We're going to go to Tools, then Group Policy Management. Bring that up on the screen. And what we are going to do is we're going to expand our domains, expand the datum, and we're going to select the sales OU. We're going to right click, we're going to say create and link a GPO here, and we're going to call that GPO 30. Click OK. We're going to expand that list. We're going to right click GPO 30 and edit. Let's maximize that, make it easy to work with. Now we're going to set a computer configuration, a preference. Expand computer configurations, preferences, control panel, expand control panel settings. Select printers. Now we can define a printer to be deployed. We're going to right click on printers, say new local printer. We're going to allow update to stay selected. For the name, we're going to type in office printer. We're going to use USB 001 for the port. For the path, we're going to do / Lund-DC1 / HP Color LaserJet 1600 class driver, and click OK. So this would define a printer to be deployed that would connect to the printer installed on our server. If you've got that there, go ahead and take a screenshot and paste it into step number 19. Here's question number 3. When you want to deploy a GPO based on where a user is located, where would you best assign the GPO? What defines a location in our network? Our subnet. But we can't define subnets here. But what do we associate with a subnet in our Windows server? For example, in Active Directory sites and services, sites to subnets. So when you want to deploy a GPO based on where a user is located, where would you best assign the GPO? To a site, because that site would be assigned to a subnet. Exercise 10.1 is done. Moving on to 10.2, configuring network drive mappings. And in this exercise, we're going to map a shared folder to a local drive. Network drive maps allow you to create dynamic drive mappings to network shares, modify map drives, delete a map drive, or hide or show drives. On our LUN-DC1, in our GPO30, we're going to expand user configuration and preferences, and we're going to expand the Windows settings. We're going to click on drive maps. There are none configured yet. We're going to right click, say new map drive. Now let's go ahead and answer our question number 4. And question number 4 is pretty much a duplicate of what you just answered. If you want to deploy a GPO based on where a user is located, where would you best assign the GPO? I have no idea why they've asked us the question twice, but we already know it's to a site. Remember, in your group policy console, we can assign within our domain. We also have the ability to define by sites. All right? There's our site. Okay, back to our editor. Next step. We're going to right click, we're going to say new drive map. New map drive. It's already open. Where is it at? There it is. Okay, and we had it as update. Location is going to be // lun-dc1 software. Remember our shared software folder? For drive letter, we're going to select I. I is the drive letter. We could give it a label if we wanted to. We could tell it to reconnect every time to make sure that it's always there. And under hide show, we're going to show this drive. Go ahead and take a screenshot showing all the settings that you're going to be configuring. Paste that in step number 6. If you got your screenshot, go ahead and click OK. There is our instructions for mapping a drive. Let's move on to exercise 10.3, which is configuring power options. And in this exercise, obviously, we're going to configure power options using GPO preferences. The Power Options extension allows you to create and configure a power plan, power options, power scheme preference items. The power options and power schemes are used with Windows XP and Windows Vista, and the power plan is used with Windows Vista and later. Let's go ahead and get into it. So understand that there's difference between your power plan, power options, power scheme, and how they're used, where and what operating systems they can be used with. We're going to go back up to our computer configuration. And under our Preferences Control Panel settings, we're going to select Power Options. We're going to right click and say New Power Plan at least Windows 7. Here are our power plan options. we're going to expand the power buttons and lid. So this might be how do we want to control a laptop? Lid close action, expand that. On battery and plugged in settings, change from sleep to do nothing. So what would be the result of that? If you close the lid, nothing happens. You open it back up and the same session's still on. I don't know if that's a good idea on battery, but that's the instructions that they want us to do. Let's scroll down. Expand display. And expand turn off display after. Question number 5. When the system is plugged in, how much time passes before the display is turned off? Well, it's right there on your screen. Plugged in, minutes, 10. Now here's your answer to question number 5. This is real difficult, right? Don't make any changes there. At the top, select the Common tab. And what we want to do is we want to select Apply Once and Do Not Reapply. We're going to go ahead and we're going to click OK. So here's our power plan. And as you can see, you can define multiple ones. Go ahead and take a screenshot, paste it into step number 8. Exercise 10.3 is done. Let's move on to 10.4, which is configuring Internet Explorer settings. In this exercise, we're going to configure Internet Explorer versions 8 through 10 with a predefined home page and exceptions for the pop-up blocker. Understand that these settings will not apply to the Edge browser. This will only apply to Internet Explorer. Group policy includes the Internet Settings Preference extension, which allows you to configure specific Internet settings or specify an initial configuration of Internet settings, yet still allows for end users to make changes. On our GP030, let's select User Configuration, Preferences. We're going to expand Control Panel. And we're going to select Internet Settings. We're going to right-click Internet Settings and choose New Internet Explorer 10. What we can do now is on the General tab, we're going to type in http://portal.adatem.com. And we're going to select on Startup, click Start with Homepage. Take a look at the screen. On the home page area, question number 6, what color is the home page set to? See that red underscore? It's red. What color? Red. Question number 7, what color is the startup option set to? Green. Click on Home Page, the Home Page text box, and press the F5 key. Notice that the box turned green. That enabled it. Press the F7 button. Question number 8. Which key is used to disable the current setting? What did I just do? Red usually means stop, right? Pressing F7 disables the setting. I'm going to press F5 again to enable it. Now, in my Lab 10 that you're going to see me do, I did not press F5 to enable it. And that's why the setting didn't work for Internet Explorer in the lab. Let's select the Privacy tab. And we're going to click on Settings. Under the pop-up blocker settings, we're going to type in an address that we want to add. And that's going to be star.adatem.com. And we're going to click Add. Then we're going to click Close. So we've added an exception to Internet Explorer. Go ahead and click OK. You've got your Internet Explorer 10 settings. Take a screenshot, paste it into step 8. Guess what? Exercise 10.4 is done. Moving on to 10.5. This will be performing file, folder, and shortcut deployments. So in this exercise, we're going to create a folder, copy a file to the folder, and then create a shortcut to the folder using GPO preferences. On our DC1, again, still in GPO 30 editing, in our user configuration preferences, we're going to go back to the Windows settings and we're going to select Files. We're going to right-click Files and say New File. For the source file, we're going to type in //lun-dc1 /software /hello.bat. In the destination, C:\hello.bat. Go ahead and take a screenshot and paste that into step number 5. Click OK. Let's go to Computer Configuration, Preferences, Windows Settings, and select Folders. Right-click and select New Folder. And we're going to set, for our action, we're going to tell it to create. And the path that we're going to create is called C:\batch. Go ahead and click OK. So the instruction will be to create a new folder called batch. Going back down to our user configuration, we're going to select Windows setting under Preferences, and we're going to select Shortcuts. We're going to right-click, say New Shortcut. Here again, we're going to change Update to Create. And for the name, we're going to call it Batch. For the location where it's going to be created, we're going to select Desktop. And for the target path, we're going to type in C:\batch. Click OK. We've made a lot of different settings. Go ahead and take a screenshot, paste this into step number 18. Let's move on to our lab challenge, configuring item level targeting. What does item level targeting do? It allows us to determine what this policy would be applied against. So you could determine that this policy would only be applicable if there's a certain operating system installed, or if it has a certain IP address range, or if there's a certain amount of disk space available. Item level targeting is used to change the scope of individual preference items so that the preference items apply only to selected users or computers. Some of the item level qualifiers include computer name, CPU speed, disk space, domain, IP address range, user, and time range. We can do this one of two ways, and I'm going to show you how to do it. We could use WMI filtering, but since this lab focuses on group policy preferences, we're going to use item level targeting. What you're going to do is you're going to go into an item we just created. For example, let's right-click on Batch and go to Properties. And we're going to click the Common tab. And then we're going to select Item Level Targeting. And we're going to say we're going to target, and we're going to click New Item, and let's select Portable Computer. So it will sense whether it's a portable computer or not. Go ahead and click OK. That is how you create item level targeting. You have to do it for each one of the defined preferences. It's just as simple as that. If you've done that, you're completed. Your lab is done. Thank you for viewing 7D-742 Lab 10.